Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. Co-hosting in this thing, we got Civilian Arc and Pory Nog. How are you both doing on this lovely day?
Oh, I'm doing very good. It's a lovely day. I got a lot of sleep. I get to rant later. We're going to do some doxing. We're not going to actually do doxing, but there's going to be lots of rants and fun talks later, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm doing fine. I'm still recovering from depressing anime, so that's
What
fun.
anime?
Akame ga Kill.
Oh, that's a good one. I watched that last year. That
Yeah,
one hits different.
it's really great. I know the manga is different. I'm reading the manga. I was reading the manga today, actually.
Oh, I got to check that out. Yeah, we're an anime podcast now.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I apologize for the camera issues that happened in last week's podcast and stuff. Luckily, the important stuff is there, and I'm clearly playing around with my Megabyte fidget spinner that I got from Team Gigabyte because I think that thing is awesome and stuff. So,
Oh, playground or
So
something.
in this episode, we won't be talking about anime, well, that much, but we'll be talking about the
That
fight
much.
card that happened last Thursday and such. So avoid this video for now if you don't want to hear spoilers, as this video is going to be full of them. And then we're going to see the top 32 right after. We're going to see the top 32 rankings at the end of this video because I can. You can't stop me. Wearing my Malice shirt for this one because they're in the top 32 and such, and I can wear my Malice
I'm
shirts.
wearing a BattleBots shirt because this is a podcast about BattleBots and anime.
Here, I'm not wearing a BattleBot shirt, so I'll just grab my.
What even was that you were trying to show off Pori?
Mauler.
Oh, I was first wondering what that is.
I figured
While
you're showing
Civilian
out your
does that, of course I gotta bring my Valkyrie wheel here since they're in the main
Valkyrie.
event and such. So,
Sorry, I accidentally kicked my mic out of my computer.
hey, you're fine. Well, let's go ahead and get to the first battle here where we got Hydra and Uppercut. First thing I was thinking of as we're seeing that piece there, was that like an attachment that Hydra or Uppercut came with here? But no. What you end up learning in that thing is they came with like a model cage of the battle box there with a Witch Doctor and Tombstone hex bug in it that they came with as a mini bot, kind of like it's a distraction for Hydra. Of course, though, Uppercut eventually lost balance towards the beginning of the fight, and Hydra just said bye-bye to that thing and just launched it. So all I gotta say is those poor hex bugs. Oh man. But yeah. Awesome fight here is both of these bots coming into this battle 2-0 is Hydra with a judge's decision victory over Witch Doctor, a controversial judge's decision victory over Huge. They're taking on Uppercut, who got 2 knockouts over Gemini and Sawblaze here. So Chris and Kenny were mentioning that the winner of this battle would most likely be the 1 seed coming into the top 32 and such. So thoughts on this battle from you two?
I mean, it was a fun fight. I feel Uppercut wasn't on their A game with the driving, but it was cool to see him fly in the air, and it was sad to see the little battle box break. Although I feel like Hydra again. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. That's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, I thought it was a good fight. I was sad that Uppercut didn't win because I really like Uppercut, but at least it was at least Hydra didn't have like a keep away stick or something on it. So it is what it is.
It's like you're muted, Civilian.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
muted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My I could not. I'm having the worst day possible. Speaking of hex bugs, I'm making a hex bug BattleBot mod soon, so be sure to check that out.
I actually am too.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was definitely a fight for the 1 seed because both bots did extremely well. I mean, sure, Hydra didn't push. It kind of was a bit of a wuss in the huge fight, but I mean, good strategy. But yeah, Hydra. This proved that Hydra is still not one to mess around with. It's still a robot that you should fear for your very existence.
Yeah. Jake mentioned in his interview that after that huge fight, Hydra had to come back here and prove that they are still a machine that people should fear. And they obviously did that as they sent Uppercut flying several times and managed to win this fight by a unanimous decision. First question to you guys is, which do you think was a bigger enemy to Uppercut here? Hydra's flipper or the floor? Because the floor seemed to be giving Uppercut a lot of trouble in this one.
Floor's giving them both trouble, kind of.
Yeah, Uppercut's very unbalanced, which is like the main problem with Uppercut is that it has a very tough time getting back from on its side. So that'll be a real problem going into the postseason for them, is that if they fight a bot with a lot of drive power, they could get easily pushed around. So the floor's a main problem, but I think Hydra was still a real threat to Uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really for that one, it could go either way. No, is they were off balance several times, and quite a few of those times. I think that was because it looked like one of their wedgelets got stuck on one of the floor areas, it's got in one of the kill saw areas, and so on. Kind of like going along with Pory's thing, where Uppercut wasn't exactly their A game, aim for their driving here. Is we saw them near the end of the fight, like maneuvering around the spikes and the kill saws and stuff just to try to keep their balance and stuff. And I think that was causing a lot of their gyro issues they were having in this battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw Uppercut go flying several times. We saw them get a few good hits on Hydra, including, if you didn't notice this, I don't know if maybe Jake didn't like bring the flipper back down or something like that. I don't know if Jake could control that and stuff, but coming into the end of the fight, Hydra's flipper was stuck up in the air. I don't know if that was actually because of Jake's control whole thing, like what I was stating before, or if that was damage they took hook through that, but yeah, you kind of get the idea and stuff. So next question, and the last question for this battle, the judge's decision. What did you think of it?
It was fine. I didn't disagree with it. Hydra definitely won that fight, no question.
It was a agreeable decision. I mean, there's nothing that Uppercut really did it besides like one hit to Hydra.
Quite a few actually. They got a few good hits on the side. Then they got Hydra had one misflip that led to a shot right in the flipper, and then there would be their flipper maybe getting stuck at the end of the fight. I don't know exactly if that was damage done or if that was something that Jake caused and stuff.
I'd say I agree with the decision though. Hydra did.
Yeah.
Hydra just dominated.
Yeah, I agreed with the decision as well. As I scored damage 4-1 in favor of Uppercut, actually, as while Hydra did land a ton of flips, was quite a bit more active with their primary weapon, Uppercut seemed to have done more damage in this one. So I would give them a major edge on damage. As for aggression, I'd give Hydra 2 out of 3 of those points, as they were quite a bit more aggressive and, like I said already, a little more active with their primary weapon. And then control, I'd give all 3 of those to Hydra. So I actually had this as a close one, a close 6-5 decision in favor of Hydra and stuff. So anything else?
I mean, that's about where I would be on the decision.
Yeah. Anything else about this one from either of you two?
No, that's all I got.
All right. So epic fight by these two. What a way to lead off the episode, and another a great showing out of Hydra here. So as Hydra was, I'm going to reveal what they got for their top 32 rankings if the team made it before we get to the next battle. But then we're going to talk more about the brackets that's coming at the end of this video. So Hydra was given the top seed, believe it or not, and such, and then Uppercut was given the 4 seed. If you haven't seen the episode already and seen the bracket or anybody's posts on social media and stuff. So, all right, next battle. Sawblaze and Rusty. Here's my first question and stuff, which I don't know if you two don't exactly need to answer this. Rusty was first given Sporknock and stuff, like good opponent for them and stuff. Why were they given Beta and Sawblaze for their next two battles and so on?
I heard that apparently Dave Eaton was pretty much just said to the producers like, fucking give me like hard opponents, because he doesn't care. I don't think he really cared about like winning it all. Obviously he built something like Rusty, you're probably not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna win the nut. I think he just was like, yeah, I just want to have fun. I just want to fight cool robots and make for a good show, pretty much.
I mean, in fairness, he did beat Sawblaze, so I mean, and beat us. So
That's true.
Yep, definitely. But one thing you can respect about Rusty coming into this fight, Sawblaze came in with defense attachments for this battle. Came in with some extra top armor for Rusty's weapon and such. So you got to give Rusty a little respect for that and such. And yeah, kind of like what Pory said, saw Jameson Go mentioned in his interview after winning this battle, that Dave Eaton was there just to have fun and stuff like that. Like he was highly looking forward to this battle and such. And even when Rusty got stuck on their side and such and couldn't right, like Jameson Go just decided to keep the fun going and helped Rusty self right and stuff. And we saw this battle go the full 3 minutes. So definitely give big credit to Rusty. Like their weapon might have died not too long into the fight, but their drive worked the full 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Somebody else commented on my reply to Battlebots bracket predictions when I commented them on why they didn't have Rusty winning the whole thing. Somebody mentioned that Rusty is like a cheese grater, and then I replied to that saying that Sawblaze is the cheese grater and Rusty is the cheese that's about to be grated based off of this fight. And so on. If you're watching this, that was a great comment, whoever that was and such. I wish I knew which account that was so I could give you credit at it and such, as that was great. Yeah. Got to give Rusty big credit for going the full 3 minutes with a heck of a machine like Sawblaze.
Yeah, I agree. They were definitely durable in it. I give them a lot of credit for that.
So yeah, other thoughts from both of you and so
on? This was a very strangely edited fight. I mean, they really know how to edit these fights well. Because I mean, Rusty won that. I mean, I'm not sure what happened with this, but I mean, I guess Sawblaze did a really good job driving here and was really aggressive, and there was a lot of sparks. I'm glad the regular saw is back, though. I'm honestly not a fan of the hammer saw, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, it's destructive. I'll give him credit for that, but I just love seeing flurries of sparks and just robots getting slowly torn apart. Jeez.
Both are incredibly fun to watch. Both saw attachments because there's sparks on one hand. With the hammer saw, you saw that thing put holes into Blacksmith and Whiplash as well, and snap the rods of Sow, and both of them are quite entertaining. My Rusty, one of my few Rusty stickers I've got.
I still have one.
Yeah, I have three different Rusty stickers. I've been trying to find the others, but haven't had any luck so far, and so on. So, I'll just give up for now. Yeah, and I also have Sawblaze stickers in the box too, but I'm choosing not to dig through them right now. So yeah, anything else on this?
Why go on hunt for the original cut of Disco Inferno versus Chomp when we could hunt for the original cut of Rusty versus Sawblaze?
Fair enough. All right, so Sawblaze was given the 7 seed in the top 32, And civilian are going to think this is controversial, but Rusty did not make the top 32, unfortunately.
What is this?
So yeah, Rusty did not make the top 32 after going 3-0 with wins over Sporkanock, Beta, and Sawblaze.
I just threw a wet
Throw
cup
away the
of
whole
the
season.
wall and water hit my phone.
Oh, rip.
Throw away the whole season. It's done.
I think it's fine.
Oh,
It was
man.
a good finale.
Oh, fuck.
Hopefully you could tell I was joking when I said that Rusty beat Beta and Sawblaze, as we're clearly just having fun here and such.
Yeah, I threw my cup for fun, but now this isn't fun.
All right, let's
I
go
think
to
it's
fight
fun,
number
though.
3, where we got Tantrum and Gamma 9. So on one side, we got Tantrum coming into this battle with a 1-1 record, with a win against Adam 94, but a loss to Valkyrie for their first fight. Gamma 9, their opponent has a loss to Chomp, and I believe that was their only fight so far. And
yeah,
we saw it was nice to see both bots return again, and this was an excellent fight in my opinion, even though it was a little one-sided here, mostly dominated by Tantrum and such. So thoughts on this battle?
I don't. You want to go first, Pory?
I'm sad. It's because I love Gamma 9. Like it's just there's something about it. Like when you see like Gamma 9 driving around the arena, it makes you feel like you're chilling in like 2001 again. Because it's just like I don't know. There's something about seeing the Gammatronic Robot Brigade in the battle box that just sparks nostalgia, and it's always sad to see him lose to Tantrum.
Yeah, got to give big credit to Aaron Hill for this battle. Like, this was probably one of his best performances, like, in his Battlebots career and such. Like, he completely outdrove Gamma 9, got to the sides and stuff, landed a ton of big attacks, managed to knock off several pieces of Gamma 9's side armor, or with that spinner. Like, not just Aaron Hill's best performance, but this was like Tantrum's best performance. And so on. Like, yeah, like he dominated that fight all the way from like the beginning of it up until 2 minutes and 59 seconds into this battle. And by the way, that was the end. By the way, that was the end of the battle too. If you don't know what I'm talking about by that, there was 1 second left on the clock before the judge said 0 for the countdown on Gamma 9.
Right.
So, thoughts, civilian?
Well, this still proves my theory that Tantrum will be the dark horse this season. I have high hopes for Tantrum going into the postseason. It's done a lot to all of its opponents. I mean, if it didn't short out against Valkyrie, it'd be 3-0 right now. And it's just been an impressive year all around for Tantrum. And let's not give any discredit to Gamma 9 either. It did well in its fight against Chomp, and it stood its own against Tantrum pretty well, so big credit to both teams.
I completely agree. Gamma 9's definitely a better machine coming back to Battlebots here compared to the Crusher they brought back in 2018. They put up a heck of a fight against Chomp, like made that fight like a reasonably close judge's decision, and then came here against Tantrum. Might not have won the battle, but it's always fun getting to see Gamma 9 return, and they went out in style in this one, in my opinion, here.
Yeah.
Such. So, anything else about this battle?
We'll have our day.
How far do you guys think Tantrum's going to get, since they are the 18 seed in the top 32?
I have plans for Tantrum, all right.
Who are they fighting next?
Big plans.
They'll be taking on Fusion.
They'll probably win that.
Tantrum's gonna be the 2020 champion in my prediction.
Ooh, interesting. Aaron Hill, you better be watching this video, because you got number one fan right in here, I think.
Well, maybe. I think I predict them going into the finals. I'm gonna have to check my left side of the bracket again. And
Somebody needs to make an in the orange square as for a Battlebots fan page and throw Tantrum in as their image. I think we need that.
yeah.
Should I become a colored square page?
Your choice. Battlebots Collector is
Change my
pretty good
brand.
as well.
Yeah, it's quite the brand. It sticks out.
All right, so let's get on to the next battle. And yeah, if you weren't paying attention, Tantrum is in the top 32 as the 18 seed. Gamma 9, sadly, at 0 and 2, were not able to make the top 32. I hope they're in one of one of the last two bounties, as I hope we get to see Gamma 9 again, as it's a fantastic machine. And
Yeah,
it's a great
they
game to
better come
see them
back
back.
next year.
Yeah, I hope so. So, next up, Endgame and Hypershock. Huck is next. And this fight ended a lot quicker than I thought it would have, to be honest. As
Mhm.
Snow is, yeah, we saw a few big hits. Hypershock eventually gets stuck in the screws, and then Endgame shoot a piece of Hypershock that almost, or actually did, end up hurting Kenny Florian by mistake, of course, and so on. And so, thoughts on this battle from you two?
Uh, I mean, I kind of saw this going pretty quickly, or at least not. I could see it being very one-sided because they kind of showed that in like in the intro of the BattleBots 2020. I think they showed Endgame versus Hypershock, and Hypershock
Yeah.
was stuck on the screws, I think. So I wasn't too shocked by that. Very disappointing from Hypershock, though.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. As yeah, Will Bales did say like in his game plan and stuff, he was gonna like drive circles around Endgame and then come at Endgame at the right moment and stuff, and that didn't happen as we saw him just going head on with Endgame right from the start, which is exactly what Endgame wanted because they were pretty sure they had the lower ground game, while Hypershock didn't even want to touch that weapon and stuff as they knew
Yeah.
Endgame had the better weapon between the two of them, and that obviously did not happen. Yeah, I wasn't surprised about the outcome. Kind of like supporting what Civilian Arc said, Ed, and such. As yeah, we did see in one of the previews, we did see a matchup between these two. We saw Hypershock on the screws, not in the position where they were stuck, like that. Like I think it was after like one of the first hits or something like that that sent Hypershock in the screws, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it was kind of entertaining in Endgame's post-fight interview and stuff when they were cleaning up the damaged pieces of Hypershock. Endgame said they were intentionally trying to shoot it at the judges just in case if the fight was to go to the judges, so that way they could show that they were doing damage and stuff. And of course, Kenny and Chris called him out for bad accuracy since they actually went at Kenny Florian instead. Oh, that was entertaining.
Yeah.
Such so.
I mean, scare the scariest man in the room. Just I mean,
Yep.
if you scare a UFC fighter, you're doing your job right, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Jack Barker's gonna have to watch out for Kenny because you never know. Kenny might come out for revenge or something. Some
And he's just gonna kick
some
Jack Barker's ass.
untelevised revenge between Kenny Florian and Jack Barker.
They just post a UFC fight, but it's just the BattleBots arena.
Why not? What's wrong with that? What could possibly go wrong?
Only everything.
Yeah, you never know what will happen in the battle box and such. So, yeah. Anything else on this battle?
There's not much to say. It was just a real fast battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This fight ended a lot quicker than what I was hoping, as I was hoping to see a lot more action out of both of these bots and stuff. But then, yeah, we ended up just seeing a quick knockout that was completely dominated by Endgame. Might as well show off my sticker sheet on Hypershock. I got multiple stickers in my shoebox here, but I'm choosing not to dig them out. Some
You
Endgame
gonna buy
stickers from
Hypershock?
there. Her from 2019 design. What's
Wait,
that, Pory?
I
Are you gonna buy Hypershock?
I've been meaning. Is that actually
I wish I had the money for that, but
is
I'm
that
not
act
rich.
is that actually a thing, or is it just a meme?
I mean, I'm sure if
I
you
looked on the
actually
store and
ponied up
I
70
looked on
grand,
Hypershock store but couldn't find it. But I don't. It
because it's on the
might be.
secret store.
That's also possible. As
I mean, there is the option to buy it.
Petunia did post a picture of that thing saying that they wanted the bot for some extra target practice.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody ponied up the 70 grand, I'm sure they would actually like show up at your door with Hypershock. I mean,
I mean,
why not?
if I had 70 grand on me right now, I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If
mean,
if I had
it'd be
70
cool.
grand, I would have bought Mammoth in a heartbeat.
I would have bought Stinger in a heartbeat if I had any choice
Well,
of a.
I mentioned Mammoth because Mammoth actually was for sale. They were on sale for
Oh wait, was he?
$20,000. I don't know if it's
Wait,
still up.
really?
I don't know if it's still up for sale or not, but yeah. They put Mammoth and it's up for sale for $20,000 or some
Huh.
stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
just the
not?
design, I believe, not the rights. Because I would guess that Mammoth is coming back next season. I don't know for sure though. Oh, but
Yeah, I'm
I
sure they
hope
will be.
Mammoth returns next season. So,
Probably.
all right,
Well,
all right, back to this. So both bots are in the top 32. I know we'll be talking
Get
about
to
this stuff later in the
that.
video.
yeah, let's. I can't wait for that fun.
Yep. Endgame was given the 6th seed. Hypershock was given the 32 seed. And so Hypershock at Hypershock being like the biggest underdog in terms of rankings coming to the top 32 next Thursday. All right, next battle. P1 and Smee. Sadly, I don't have any swag from either of these teams, which that's okay and such. But one thing we can conclude after the end of this battle, P1 got their weightlifting done for the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moment of the episode when literally that P1 got underneath me in the right position to lift up their front hinged flipper, use that thing. But then P1 Smee, like part of the middle of it, balanced right on the tippy top of that front hinged flipper.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed because I remember you and I were talking last week about how Claw Viper would kind of grab it up and like lift it around, and the two ends would lift down like a slinky.
Yep, and we saw that this episode.
Yeah.
Oh man, this fight was a lot better than what I predicted it was going to be and such as I was kind of predicting this was going to be like a repeat of like Pain Train and Smee where I didn't find that fight very entertaining other than that one big moment and some stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
this fight was a lot more entertaining and I forget what the name of P1's driver, but P1 but that driver he had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah.
And
This
Yeah,
so,
is
definitely.
this was honestly my favorite fight of the week, if I'm being honest. It was very
Oh yeah.
entertaining.
definitely up there for me as well. I don't know exactly which one's my favorite battle, but
Like
that
I,
one's
I'm
definitely up there.
I'm just surprised how many like unproven or low tier teams are doing well when they fight each other. Like first we had Captain Shredderator versus Axe Backwards. Now we have this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a good
yeah.
fight.
We saw several great moments out of P1. Yeah, we saw that weightlifting thing, and you know I gotta call it that. That was fantastic. And then we got several more great pushes in there. Of course, though, P1 was having drive issues at some moments in the battle, similar to what they were having at the
Okay.
beginning of their battle with Copperhead after the first big hit and such, and
Geico.
which are definitely still concerns. Yep, Geico, oh and such. And then Smee on the other hand eventually got stuck one wheel side on the screws, the other side hanging off and such, where they were counted out, and P1 won by knockout, and they are 2-1 right now with a win over Kronos and a win over Smee, but then that quick loss to Copperhead and such. And Smee, who's I believe they're now saying at 1-2 with a win over Sharko, but then losses to Pain Train and P1. So
Yeah, 2-1. I mean, it should, that should get him in the bracket. So it's cool. I'm happy that P1 is going to be in the bracket, right? Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, that comes
yeah.
that comes into my next question. And neither of these bots ended up making the top 32 and such. And there has been a lot of talk on the internet that people think P1 got ripped off since they're a 2-1 machine. And this was an oddly impressive battle here. Do you think P1 should have made the top 32?
Yeah, yeah, of course. P1 definitely should have made the top 32, and it's bullshit that they didn't because they're 2-1. Both of their wins are by knockout. One of their wins was one of the most entertaining fights of the season, but they probably didn't make it in because Hypershock and Gruff are like more popular because
Yeah.
BattleBots is concerned about letting popular bots in over them. I bet Tombstone would have gotten a seed over P1 if they went like 0-3 even. Like they let these robots that don't earn the spots in, and then everyone tries to justify it by being like, "Oh, it's a TV show." Like, yeah, okay, show's not going to be canceled if like Gruff isn't in the top 16 and P1 is or something.
But like it's kind of demeaning the other teams like P1. I'm sure the P1 team still feels kind of bad that they didn't make the top 30 even though they
Yeah,
deserve to make the top 32.
I'd be pissed if I was the P1
Like
team.
I kind of talked about this when I was like thinking about Tombstone versus Gruff, but the point is it sucks because this makes your robot look worse than it is. Like when Gruff
Yeah,
lost to Tombstone.
yeah,
Yeah, so my opinion on it is kind of different. I I personally don't think they exactly should have made the top 32. No offense to P1, as I liked this battle and such. Like, I found this very entertaining. One of the most entertaining moments of the season was in this battle. But in my opinion, I didn't find a lot of this, a lot of, other than that moment. I didn't find a lot of the other stuff that has happened this season very impressive. No, it's the highlights we saw in their battle with Kronos weren't the most impressive to me. And coming into this battle, we had those great moments, but then there was the issues that P1 had in like their Copperhead battle that came back and kind of was a downer, or in my opinion. And
I mean,
while I do feel like P1 should have made it as a 2-1 bot, like I honestly found like a few. The only bot I could really see I could potentially like swap with P1 would probably be Gruff, in my opinion. No offense to Gruff or anything like that, as Gruff is a
I agree.
tough machine and such, and had a few who pretty impressive goes. But yeah, kind of like as for Hypershock being thrown into the top 32 and such, like I would probably take Hypershock over P1, found a lot as I found like their efforts and some of their battles to be a lot better than P1. I think they had a little more impressive performance, like in that mammoth fight and the beginning of their battle with Gruff. And so,
I I
like,
also for you
uh,
you go ahead.
yeah, so yeah, I apologize to anybody who disagrees with me and such. Like, you're welcome to reply in the comment. As all opinions are welcome here. Just don't
yeah.
criticize us and stuff, as
Mhm.
we
I
all
mean, you
have
can
different
criticize me. That's
opinions and
fine.
stuff. I know you two haven't, but viewers might, as people criticize my opinion on Huge and Hydra and
I mean,
Yeah,
stuff.
I've been criticizing your guys' opinion on the Nightmare Wheelie Big Cheese
Yep.
decision. So I mean,
yeah.
Yep,
Bring it on.
the first big controversial decision of War Machine's history, Wheelie Big Cheese versus Nightmare in last Saturday's episode, and
See,
such.
the
So
thing with this is like, okay, so there's robots that they enter the tournament. They when they're 1-1, if they're not gonna enter, if they're not gonna like get, if they don't think like, oh, you're worthy of the bracket, then they usually don't give them a third fight. Like season 3, Doubled Egg, they were 1-1, they didn't get a third fight, probably because they were like, oh, this robot's not gonna make it in. Slapbox probably didn't get a third fight because they were like, oh, this thing's not gonna make the bracket, probably because it wasn't as impressive.
I would have put Slapbox in if they won their third fight. If I was the selection committee and such, if they got a third fight, I hope
they
Slapbox.
probably would have turned it down because they have like they have a vendetta against lifters, even though there's a lot of really good ones this season. Like
Yeah,
deadlift was 1-1. They didn't get a third fight, so
they
but like
didn't.
this one, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but
Not that I know of right now. I could probably maybe look it up.
But I mean, P1 and Smee, they were both 1-1 robots. They both, and they both did decent in their wins. And, I mean, P1's loss was to the number 3 seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Copperhead Street. Yeah, they lost to the number 3 seed, so that's nothing to be ashamed of. And Smee's loss was kind of controversial. Like it could have gone either way. But at the same time, why give these robots a third fight if they're just not going to make the bracket? That's what I'm wondering. Because if Smee would have won that, they probably wouldn't have made the bracket either.
That's kind of why
I think it's a case where, like, if it's a round of 32 and there's robots that go 2-1, there's robots that go 1-2. The 2-1s, regardless, should always go above. I mean, it's not their fault that they got like, lower tier bots. I mean, Sub-Zero's 2 wins were against like 2 barely mobile robots. They made the bracket. Beta's 2 wins were against 2 lower tier bots, and Rotator. But
so like Slapbox and Deadlift have both had 2 fights, according to at least the Battlebots site. I didn't look.
Yeah, I checked earlier, and it seemed like they only got 2 fights each, which it is what it is.
It's a little disappointing, but yeah, it is what it is.
But at the same time, if Smee and P1 they were like, oh, these 2 robots aren't going to make the bracket, then they shouldn't have gotten the third fight. Yeah, although the third fight happened because it was really glorious. But I feel like if P1 was like a more popular robot, like if that P1 versus if P1's exact schedule was given to like Gruff, if Gruff like KO'd Kronos, lost to Copperhead by KO, and then KO'd Smee, I feel like they would have gotten in without question.
Yeah, I think this was another showing of how like the flaws of the BattleBots rules have really opened up in this year of in the BattleBots season.
Yeah, definitely. There's been quite a bit of inconsistency. Yeah, like judging criteria, rules, or other rules, and them just playing favorites, kind of like what Pory's kind of saying, based off of lots of his arguments. And I hope that's something that kind of gets fixed next season. What they should do is they should do something like what I'm doing for my fantasy tournament that's currently paused, where what I'm doing for that fantasy tournament is basically every bot gets a certain number of fights, and then every bot is ranked and do a postseason bracket. That way everybody gets in, at least everybody that like is able to keep going and stuff. Like nobody's left out. Like that way, like Battlebots like can't play favorites. It's that way and such. Like,
but yeah.
I feel like that would be an effective method, but of course, though, there are cons behind it too.
Yeah, there would be a few problems with that.
Like, I get it's a TV show, but at the same time, they accept these robots months ahead of time. They don't, this isn't an open competition. Like, when a robot applies, they can be like, oh, this robot's going to suck on TV. And understandably so. I mean, once in a while, the robot shows up and it's like totally different than what their application was. Like Rampage, for example, like they were supposed to be like a lifter spinner hybrid, but then they showed up and it was like a block with a spinner on it, pretty much. Yeah, that happens sometimes, but usually they accept these robots. Like they see P1 apply, they're like, oh, it's a front hinge flipper, cool, it's unique. They see Smee apply, they're like, what the fuck is this? Let's accept it. It's like they accept these robots ahead of time because they know that it should be theoretically entertaining. So they should be ready to throw whoever they accept into the tournament regardless.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, lots of excellent arguments here, stuff that we like to see on these podcasts. So,
And
Tell me
like,
how wrong I am in the comments.
and I'm not demeaning the selection committee at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them are at least former BattleBots competitors, or at least are involved when BattleBots before said season.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But like this, I still think P1 should have made it. I don't see how you could argue Mammoth should have made it over P1.
I'd
Or
give it to Mammoth. Mammoth
yeah,
was 2-1. They deserve
I
a
agree
spot.
with Mammoth.
oh wait, no, I mean Gruff is what I meant.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gruff is what I meant to say. I can't see an argument for Gruff.
All
Even
right, so
Hypershock. I feel like Hypershock. It's like because I mean they got bodied by Gruff. They got bodied by Endgame, and their only win was to Mammoth. Like I feel like it's good, but it's not good enough compared to
Here, I felt like the Hypershock Mammoth fight was a lot like the Hypershock Battle Royale with Cheese fight, where they just gave Hypershock an easy win so Hypershock could move up in the rankings or the standings.
Or like giving Beta Grabat, huh?
Yeah, that too.
Speaking of which, that would have been a good segue because I think that's the next fight, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, next battle is Beta and Grabat and such. Like, I was honestly really hoping Beta would have gotten like a harder opponent. No offense to Grabat, though, as Grabat is a really unique design, kind of like Smee and such. And
There's a story to this.
yep.
The way the story goes is apparently Beta was supposed to fight Sharko in this fight, but Sharko wasn't working right. Like I guess their like chains were messed up or something on the wheels. So Grabat and Rampage of all bots were like, okay, we'll fight this thing. Apparently Slammo also offered, but they were like no to him which kind of suspicious in my opinion.
I'm guessing Slammo already had 3 fights by that point or something.
I don't know. The way he said it seemed like kind of suspicious. Like, oh, we don't want this robot that can beat him. And Rampage was apparently gonna get it, but Grabat was just ready first, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe Slammo was about to go up against Witch Doctor. They wanted Beta instead because maybe they had a better chance or something. Maybe they knew they had a better chance or something. I don't know.
That could be it. Yeah.
I don't know the full story behind that, so I'm probably not right on any of that. But you never know.
I'm just parroting what I hear on the internet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff, so I don't know for sure. It's always fun to hear a lot of that stuff, as there are probably viewers on here who have never heard of that, and it's always fun.
Facts.
Oh, and so yeah, back to this battle. Grabat, their first battle was a loss against Sub-Zero, and then Beta, where they have 2 wins, a controversial judge's decision victory over Rotator, and a loss, but in parentheses, it's actually a win against Rusty. It's actually a win. Like, they managed to win against Rusty and 2 hammer strikes, 1 big one and then a little mini strike as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming into this battle, John Reed said in the post-fight interview they wanted to make this fight extra entertaining and stuff. Like, I'm guessing this may have been one like Ribot Axolotl where it was threatened to be like an untelevised fight if it like ended too quickly, which John Reed did not end it very quickly and such, as we saw him ram Beta right into the screws near the beginning of the fight, but then eventually pinned Grabat in the corner and just pulverized him multiple times with the hammer. And I'm guessing his hammer badly got to Grabat's internals, as eventually there was quite a bit of smoke coming out.
Yeah, and you could see a bit of indentation on the top of Grabat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's proving how tough that hammer is, even with the reinforced top armor that Grabat added for this battle and such. So, thoughts on this battle from you two?
It was fun to see Beta actually hammer something.
They hammered something in their last fight.
Yeah, but they hammered a lot in this fight.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. They got more hammered than a drunk driver.
Oh, that's good. Jeez, I have the best co-hosts here for this podcast,
Okay.
along with a bunch of the other people who have co-hosted in some of the past podcasts too. They're all awesome.
Sure.
And so Vita pulverized Grabot many times. I know once it was like 6 to 8 times is how many times they struck Grabot with that hammer. And
Yeah, they got a lot of good hits in.
yes. Yeah. Oh, were you quoting John Reed, Pory, when he said good hits?
I mean, they definitely waited for those good hits.
Yeah, they did.
They were hesitating at first. They waited.
Yep.
I mean, you got to follow the John Reed rules, obviously.
Of course, Pory's probably going to predict they're going down in their next fight.
Well, they're going to get demolished. I'm sorry, John Reed, but
yeah,
I'm predicting that as well. I'm predicting Beta losing first round also.
The 13 seed Beta is taking on the 20 seed Ribot in the next round. So now you know why Pory thinks they're going to get destroyed. Pory thinks they're going to get destroyed by the Battlebots 2020 champion.
2020 champion. We're gonna go all the way.
Imagine if Ribot actually does win the championship, though. Imagine how pleased Pory is going to be.
I'm gonna rub it in for like a year.
Wait. How will you react if they get runner up?
Depends who they get runner up to.
What if it's like a top?
What if they get runner up to P1?
That's fair. That's fair. I respect that.
Or what about this? What if they get runner up to Biohazard? I hope you know what I'm referencing by that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. What about Law Machine? What about Law Machine?
Moist Pony. Nelly the
Moist
Ellibot. We could always see Nelly the Ellibot sneak in there and manage to demolish Ribot in the championship and take home the giant nut.
I mean, the Cone Army has always been threatening. I mean,
yep.
Yeah, Cone Army is where it's at.
But yeah, Beta is in the top 32. They got a decent rank, and we'll get to see them in I'm guessing one of the next 2 episodes, assuming they're doing the top 32 in the next 2 episodes and such. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, actually on the printout sheet they have it like
there's 4 episodes left when we get to the bracket, and what I'm guessing is they're going to do the top 32 for the next 2 episodes, half and half, one side on each. And then I would guess the 3rd episode is the top 16, and then the last episode finishes the season. And then a giant
round. The printout bracket says the left side of the bracket is the next episode, then the right side, then 16, and then the finals.
Doing 2018 setup.
Yep. All right. So, anything else from you two as for this one?
Did you hear how the Beta team was scared of Grabot's hammers at the pre?
Oh yeah, because they didn't want. I'm not sure I'm curious what they were worried about there, because Gabriel mentioned that they didn't want to hit them right on those hands, as if he was worried that those hands would break the hammer and stuff.
No, I know what they were worried about. They're worried the hands are going to grab the hammer and suplex Beta and then knock him out.
That makes a lot more sense. And since so,
I feel like they were just being courteous, because they couldn't just say in the interview this robot
we're gonna win.
This robot we're fighting sucks. They couldn't just say that.
Well, they gave Grabot another televised fight, and such. Grabot's such an interesting design here. We see lots of unique bots. Grabot's definitely one of them. Even though they got 2 really tough opponents and for this season, Sub-Zero and Beta, that's even though they didn't win either of them, it's great experience for them and such. I'm not sure
how third fight's tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure how experienced the team is. I don't know for sure, but whether they're new or they're a very experienced team, it's great to get it's great to learn about their bot and stuff and have it take on lots of big machines like Beta, for example.
Yeah.
And, that's another thing that I've just remembered that I thought was really funny. when they're like talking about Vito, they're like, yeah, John Reed's been in the sport since the '90s. He's been building these hammerbots for years, and then they go to the Grabot guy, and they're like, he's a good guy.
Wow.
Chris and Kenny are ruthless this year.
Yep.
They are not pulling any punches.
But to Grabot's credit, they moved. They functioned. They moved in the battle box. They
They
survived
functioned a
for, like,
lot
half the
better
fight.
than they did against Sub-Zero. Oh, and such.
Yeah.
Big credit to them. All right, should we get to the main event?
Yeah.
Yepers.
Main event time. And where we have Valkyrie and Whiplash. Valkyrie, who is sitting at 2-0 coming into this battle with wins over Tantrum and Rotator. Whiplash is currently sitting at 1-1 with a loss to Sawblaze in the opening round fight. And I don't know if you can hear the loud thumping that's happening on the floor above me, but it sounds like there's a party going on or something, which is okay.
So let's go.
Hey, which is okay. We're having a party right here, a party that's even better than what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
There.
Hell yeah.
And I'm back
Hit
to
the
this,
ceiling with a broom and be like, shut up, I'm talking about robots out here.
There's a pool table right in front of me. With a pool cue right on the table. I could use that instead.
Oh, dope.
Yep.
You
We got
damn
lots
kids,
of
we're talking
fun
about the
stuff
main
here.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to this, and then Whiplash got a victory by completely outdriving Gruff and won that battle by a judge's decision, and that kind of happened here. So Whiplash came in with an interesting strategy here. Now, as they believe that Valkyrie is one of or the biggest horizontal spinners in the competition this season. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a little gassy at first. So yeah, to counter Valkyrie's horizontal spinner, Whiplash came in with no vertical spinner for this battle. They were relying on the lifter and their armors. They stacked up. I think they got like 15 to 20 pounds of. I don't know if you guys can confirm that or not, but
yeah, it's something like that.
yeah.
I think they said like 20.
Yeah, they got like 20 pounds worth of more armor or that they added to their bot in order to defend themselves from Valkyrie's spinner, and they just went at Valkyrie, box rushed them. Like, as you can see in the image there, they got to Valkyrie in less than 2 seconds and such.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if that beats Will Bale's record for when he box rushed Valkyrie in 2019, but whoever won that battle, it's either way, fantastic box rush by May Vasquez. And it wasn't long before Valkyrie's spinner broke once again and this season. And it broke quite early again, but not before doing a bunch of big damage to Whiplash at the beginning of the battle, as we saw several big hits dished out by Valkyrie. So, thoughts on this battle from you two?
It was a good fight. I mean, Whiplash just drove it like a pro. Like, they were just phenomenally driven the entire time, and almost got Valkyrie out of the arena. They were pushing him around, and it was great. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I'm kind of hoping low key that they end up fighting Tombstone with that attachment, because I want to see how well it'll work in that.
Yeah, that would be definitely interesting to see how that would play out.
If both bots don't make it far in the top 32, untelevised fight between Whiplash and Tombstone.
That'd be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to assume anything. I don't know.
Because I was.
Yeah. I don't want to assume anything and stuff, and I bet both teams will do really well. Going to the top 32.
Because I want to see them fight again. Because I was a bit disappointed by their 2019 fight, especially because their 2018 fight was my second favorite main event of 2018.
Yeah,
It was a
I'm
good
guessing
one.
first place went to Tombstone and Minotaur.
Whose isn't Tombstone and Minotaur? That's a classic.
I remember I had someone else for that, but I don't remember who that. But I don't remember which matchup it was. It's long in my head right now.
Actually, I changed my mind. Minotaur and Whiplash was the best main event. Period, without a doubt. No question about it.
2018 main event.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Best main event in history, in my opinion. Best main event in 2019, Minotaur and Cobalt. You cannot change my mind because that is my favorite fight in Battlebots history right now.
It was a good fight.
Oh, it's but that's my opinion and stuff. Like, there's been lots of terrific fights in
S-
2015, 2016, 2018, 2019, and 2020.
Someone said that was a bad fight because the Cobalt team isn't a good team, even though they're from Team Carbide.
I completely disagree with whoever thinks that Cobalt is not a good robot.
It's the same guy who told me Bloodsport was bottom tier.
Yeah, they got a pretty low seed.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
Yep.
they're pretty much screwed in the bracket right now. I mean, I can't see them going anywhere.
Yep. So, yeah, thoughts that relate to this battle then?
I mean, Valkyrie did really good also in this fight. I mean, this was Matt Vasquez for a good portion, but Valkyrie was putting in some damage too. I mean, it hit it threw Whiplash a good few times away from it. But I mean, Matt Vasquez proved that he's Matt Vasquez and was just Matt Vasquez for like 3 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah. Valkyrie still did a lot of damage to like the front of Whiplash and that little hump by the lifter. Like they cut that up pretty good.
Yeah, Valkyrie came in with her horizontal, their undercutter that's specifically able to like cut into plastics and stuff because they knew that that's what Whiplash's lifter and those other parts they broke was made out of. So they were hoping to cut through all of that and stuff. That was kind of like their game plan for going up against Whiplash here and such. And even though their weapon might have died, gotta give Valkyrie a lot of credit for surviving the full 3 minutes, especially after Whiplash tried to beat Valkyrie the same way that Quantum managed to beat them by jamming them up in the screws and stuff. And luckily, Valkyrie managed to survive the full 3 minutes. And kind of going into my next question on whether we agreed with the judge's decision. Sorry. Yeah, I agreed with the decision once again. Basically, I'll score it through Battlebots 11-point system and stuff. And Valkyrie, I gave them a major edge in damage. As other than their weapon falling, Whiplash didn't really do any damage here. So I would give Valkyrie 4 points from the damage category compared to 1 for Whiplash. But then as for aggression and control, I would give all 6 of those points to Whiplash, because I think Whiplash dominated in those categories. You could definitely make an argument that I could give an aggression point to Valkyrie because of the beginning of the fight and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would be able to make a good argument. But either way, whether I give Valkyrie credit and stuff, the outcome would still remain the same.
Yeah. My scoring would probably be 3-2 damage. 3-2 damage Valkyrie, because you could see that there was like some right armor damage that Valkyrie took in one of the exchanges. So it wasn't just like weapon damage. But Valkyrie did do more damage for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, all 6 points would go to Whiplash for control and aggression for me, because I mean, that was just pure domination.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely do 3-2 damage as well, because in addition to killing the actual weapon, little pieces of Valkyrie were gradually falling off throughout the fight.
Very true. Yeah, excellent arguments here, and yep, we like to see everybody's opinions and stuff on this. As sometimes people see a fight differently than others, and so on. So, anything else about this main event battle before I show off my Whiplash and Valkyrie swag?
Let's see it.
All right. There's the wheel, as I've already shown before, from their 2018 battle with Lockjaw, and so on. It's just got a crack in the side that you probably can't see, but it's there and stuff.
Nice.
What other Valkyrie things do I got? Let's see. Signed picture from the team, which I got with the wheel, also on.
Nice.
And then an awesome note and a few awesome stickers from them too.
Dope.
And then Whiplash. Got first set of stickers I got from them. And then there's also a team card in that thing, and so on.
Nice.
At the
I
beginning of
got
the
a
season, I got a
Mauler.
bracelet and on a version of their sticker from this season
Nice.
and such. Lots of awesome stuff. Battlebots community is amazing, and so on. It's awesome to be a part of it and stuff.
This is kind of like Valkyrie. I mean, it's Mauler, but it's close enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're practically the same thing.
Right. So
Same bot.
yeah. Anything on this battle or the fight card before we get to the bracket?
I got nothing.
I'm good.
All right, so stop the video right here if you haven't seen the top 32 and don't want to see it and stuff. Although if you've seen the full episode, you probably have seen it, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here is the top 32. So I had two
Mhm.
images. I had one image with the seeds and one image without the seeds. It's the one without the seeds is more readable, so I decided to use that one. And then as you can see, I put text in there with the seeds and stuff. Just to make it a little I don't know, or you kind of get the idea on why I did that and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, questions for the three of us to answer, and which you're welcome to answer these as well. If you're watching this part of the video, you're welcome to throw stuff in the comments. Here's the three questions I have. The first one, which we've kind of already touched on here. Out of the bots that did not make the top 32, whom do you think should have made the top 32 and such, which I think we all have a few different opinions on that one. The second one being, like, how great of a job do you think Battlebots did overall, well, for the selection committee, as for, like, ranking these bots? Like, do you think anybody is overranked, underranked? Like, how well of a job do you think they did with organizing and the 32 seeds and stuff? So if you guys need time to
Okay.
think, I don't know if you guys need time to think about it, but I can.
I don't need time. I got this.
Pory, lead it off.
Pory's leading the
Okay.
charge.
For one thing, P1 should have gotten in. We went over this earlier. They should have gotten in 100%. They were 2-1. They should have gotten in. Two, Captain Shredderator, I probably would have given in over Hypershock or Gruff, but that's nitpicking. Number three, this is the worst seed order I've ever seen in a bracket, but it's not really a big deal because, like, if you get into the bracket, you should be prepared to fight whoever. But like, Bloodsport probably should have been 1. Copperhead probably should have been 2. Number 3, I would probably give Uppercut 3, maybe. I wouldn't give Hydra 1 though, because all 3 of their fights were judges' decisions. One of their fights, they were too scared to actually fight the bot, and their first fight, they were like having drive issues at the end of the fight. So that, I feel like that kind of hurts them, if anything. But let's see. We'll go by quadrants. The first quadrant, we got Hypershock, who I probably would not have given it. Malice being 16, that makes sense. Gigabyte being 17, that makes sense. Flash being 8. Yeah. Huge, I probably would have made it lower because they only had 1 win. Valkyrie 9 is good. Sub-Zero probably should have been lower. They were the weakest 2-1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Second quadrant, Bloodsport being number 2. I would give him number 1, obviously. I probably wouldn't give Gruff a spot. Fusion at 15, Transform at 18, that's fair. Sawblaze at 7, that's pretty fair. Kraken 26, but I'd probably made that a little lower. Scorpios at 10, yeah. Witch Doctor 23, maybe a little lower than that. See, number 3, we got Copperhead. That's fair. I'd probably give them 2 because they're beasts. Number 30, Mammoth. I'd probably give Mammoth a little bit higher, honestly, because I mean, they got huge like out of the arena. That was pretty impressive, and I mean they beat Deadlift, so it's fair. Lockjaw 14, yeah, okay. Shire 19, okay. Endgame 6, maybe a pinch too high, but I can deal with it. Perfect Phoenix 27 seems kind of low in my opinion. I don't know. Could be wrong. Jackpot being 11 at 3-0 is kind of weird, but whatever. Rotator 22, that's a little high. And we go to the fourth quadrant. We got Uppercut 4. Okay. Hijinks at 29. I would. Yeah, sure. 13 is Beta. I would probably give them like 1 or 2 seeds higher because they did go 3-0, even if they went 3-0 against easy robots. Robot should have been number 1 seed. Black Dragon, number 5. That's a little high, isn't it?
I mean,
like by 1 or 2 seeds, not like super high, but I don't know if 5. I'd probably say 7. Slammo, a little low, but whatever. Mad Catter at 3-0 at number 12 is kind of a crime. Tombstone at 21. I'm actually surprised they didn't give him a top 16 seed.
Out of curiosity, I want to hear your argument behind Tombstone being a top 16 seed.
No, I'm saying that I'm surprised they didn't actually do that.
Okay,
I
got a favoritism.
Point.
Yeah.
I get your idea.
I would have made him a little bit lower because they only had 1 win.
Yeah.
I agree with Pory's opinion about P1 and Captain Shredderator. I'd easily give them a spot over Hyper and Gruff. I'll do it in quadrants, just like Pory did, but in reverse.
It's easier that way, yeah.
Uppercut 4 seed, I'm fine with. I mean, the top 4, I'm generally fine with. I mean, you can make an argument for why any 4 of these bots could be the 1 seed, in my opinion. Even Hydra. Hijinks 29 seed. Fine, it's had an unaired fight, so I'm okay with that. Beta 13 seed, okay. Ribot 20 seed, no, I feel like it should be a bit higher. I think it should be in the 18s through 16s range, but whatever.
That's fair. Yeah.
Black Dragon, I agree with. I feel Black Dragon is the best 2-in-1 bot of the whole 2-in-1 bots. I feel like it still did amazingly well against Copperhead. It did great against Kraken, great against Claw Viper. So it's a great. I agree with 5 seed.
Uppercut, I would say, is a little higher as far as 2-in-1s go.
You can make an argument for those two, but I feel like Black Dragon is a slightly better. But I mean.
Black Dragon didn't blow a robot up.
I mean, it didn't fight a bot. It didn't fight a bot with a flamethrower either. So
Kraken has a flamethrower.
Yep.
Stop diminishing my points.
He should have. I'm just saying that Black Dragon should have blown Kraken up. That's all I'm saying.
If they would have had 2 to 3 more minutes, they could have.
Slammo 28 seed, I actually think it should be the 32 seed in my opinion. Because it's had an unaired fight. Its fight against Pain Train, in my opinion, was very unimpressive because Slammo was having problems in that fight as well. And then it did decent against Witch Doctor. I'll give it credit. So maybe not 32 seed, but definitely bottom 3 seed in my opinion.
I mean, it got 2 KOs as a control bot. That's kind of impressive.
That is impressive. Mad Catter, I'd actually probably put them lower in my opinion. They are
behind that anyway. I want to hear your argument behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, the fusion fight. Respect to Mad Catter. That was easily Mad Catter's win. Mad Catter versus Ribot. Mad Catter got kind of lucky. Let's be honest. Ribot
You're right.
Ribot was doing well against Mad Catter until it decided to attack the mini-bot. Then Mad Catter came in for the kill and then won that. Mad Catter versus Malice, I've already given my opinion about that, but I'll go a bit more into it. It was a very disappointing fight, and in my opinion, you should not end your final fight with such a disappointing fight like that. I do not think it would put such a good sentence for the selection committee. So I do feel like Mad Catter is, in my opinion, should be the lowest ranked 3-0 bot. In my opinion, I feel like it should be lower ranked than Beta.
I don't know about lower than Beta, but I mean I can see that, especially since you're trying to woo me over with Ribot arguments.
Yeah. Tombstone 21 seed. I think it should be much lower than that. 30 to 25 seed is where I'd put Tombstone. Copperhead 3 seed, as I said, you can make an argument for any of the top 4. Mammoth should be higher, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Lockjaw, I feel like should be a little bit lower just because it's had some problems against Captain Shredderator. So I feel like the selection should have called that against them, but whatever. Shatter, I feel like should be higher, in my opinion. I feel like it should also have like a middle seed somewhere in that. Endgame 6 seed, I think it should be like in 10 seed. I don't think a 6 seed should be the seed for it. Perfect Phoenix, I feel like it should be higher, but not too
Yeah.
higher. Like a seed or two higher.
23-ish.
Jackpot, I'd say 10 seed. I'd say it should be a 1 seed higher. Rotator 22 seed, I disagree with. I think it should be the top 20 seed, one of the like 20 to 17 seed. I think Rotator was the best 1 and 2 performing seed. I do not see how Tombstone was the highest ranked 1 and 2 seed. That made no sense whatsoever.
He's more popular. Oh, I'm sick. Sorry.
Exactly. Get some Kleenex for that, Pory. Now, Bloodsport 2 seed, fine. Gruff 31 seed, as I said, I don't think Gruff should make the tournament. Fusion, I feel like they should be a bit lower because they didn't have their 2 bots we don't know much about. Did Aegis even have a second fight? Do we know if they had a second
Not
fight?
that I know of.
Besides bounties.
As for what they were talking about as for what they were talking about from the Bloodsport fight, it didn't sound like it. It sounded like they got a bunch of help from other teams when it came to preparing for that fight, because I don't know how much of spares they had exactly for their side armor and stuff.
Aegis basically is the sidewinder of the season, where they faced a robot and got like obliterated and just like couldn't do another fight, unfortunately. Yeah. But from what I hear, they just didn't get a second night fight, and they just I mean, in the bounty, you can even tell their side armor is like tires. Like they got a really rough draw there.
Fusion. I mean, Fusion also beat War Easy, which we know had an untelevised win against
Axolotl.
What? Axolotl. Yes, thank you. So I feel like Fusion should be a bit lower. Tantrum, I feel, should be much higher. I feel like it should be like 13 to 10 in my opinion, because it was very close. It was very close to getting 3-0, but whatever. I still have big plans for them in my prediction for postseason.
Counterpoint to Fusion, by the way. Sorry, it's with Aegis, like you can make the argument that like they did so well, they basically knocked a robot flat out of contention, like period. Like
that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
Like if Aegis fought like Gruff or something, like they would probably like have gotten a second fight at least.
That's fair. That's fair. Sableye 7 seed, I feel like they should be lower in my opinion. Not really lower, but like a seed or 2 lower, because they beat Rusty. So yeah.
A low seed for beating Rusty.
Yeah. Kraken 26 seed. Yeah, hell no. They should get a much higher seed. I mean, they beat Witch Doctor, took it to Black Dragon, and held up against Huge. So I do not see how Kraken would be seeded higher. I mean, seeded lower than the bot I'm about to talk to after the Mr. Scorpion Boy that beat Tombstone. I feel like they should be. I feel like 10's a good place for them to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, Witch Doctor 23 seed. Yeah, hell no. Absolutely not. I do not think that Witch Doctor should be higher than Kraken or Huge. No way.
Popularity contest.
I said it. I said I would be upset if Witch Doctor made the round of 32 over other 1 and 2 bots such as Tombstone, Huge, Kraken, Rotator, and Captain Shredderator. Captain Shredderator's not in it. So I am very upset that Witch Doctor is in it. I feel like they should be a very low seed. Bottom 5, in my opinion.
They beat Slammo.
I don't. Yeah. They did beat Slammo, indeed.
I love Slammo though. I'm happy they're in the tournament.
Yeah. Hydra, as I said, you can make an argument for. Hypershock, don't want them in. They shouldn't be in. Malice 16 seed, I should feel like they should be a bit lower just due to their fight. No, because their two final fights were decent, but like I disagree with the Shatter decision, and
Yeah.
they were very disappointing in the Mad Catter fight, and versus Axe Backwards. I mean, it's Axe Backwards, so I mean,
Axe Backwards did decent this year, even though they don't have a single win. And
they did do decent.
Yeah.
I'd say they're the second best 0-3 winless team of the year, other than Adam 94, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they got a third fight. Adam 94 is the only 0-3 fight night bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guys.
Although
Whiplash.
Although you got to give a lot of credit to Adam 94 for the fact that they came here all the way from India in a pandemic, and they learned a lot from this season. As they had Ray Billings as a mentor with helping getting their bot ready and stuff.
Technically, they only came from Canada though, because that's like where they're going to school or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like Adam 94. You look at it and you're just like, I feel like they just had a hard schedule. Like Tantrum is a hard bot to beat. Like Perfect Phoenix is a hard bot to beat. And Big Deal, it probably would have won that if it was like working a little better because he was having like first fight teething issues. It's understandable.
Yeah.
But I do think that Adam 94, like I know usually when a robot goes winless, they don't get invited back. But I feel like Adam 94 might get the nod because they have potential. Plus the fact that it's representation from a country that hasn't been represented in BattleBots yet.
Yeah, I hope Ab94 comes back. Literally, if you're one of those people that will comment that bot like Ab94 or is like a joke or a pathetic design or something, I know there were lots of talk about that, about like Ragnarok as one that I know of like. Give them a lot of credit though. Like they came to BattleBots with a nice design and stuff. Like, and as well, they would probably do a lot better than what a lot of the people that trash talk about those bots like just to be mean and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That like
I make jokes and banter about robots, but I try to do it not mean spiritedly. Like I feel like every robot is good. Like I might make a joke about like Aegis or something, but they still built like a functional flipper bot and showed up and got into the arena and didn't run away when they had to fight Fusion. Like I still respect what they do. I respect them. You know, I don't think any robot in the field is objectively bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry for interrupting you, civilian. You go ahead and continue.
Oh no, that's fine. That's part of the podcast. We get to make some arguments about this.
Argue.
Yeah. Gigabyte 17 seed. I am at two sides of this. One, I feel like they should be lower, but maybe not. I'm not too sure. I mean, they lost to Copperhead, but then they beat two bots that are not in the top 32. So I feel like they should be like in the 20 seed or 21 seed or something like that. Whiplash.
They lost to Copperhead, but they beat two bots not in the top 16. Man, that sounds like grounds. That sounds like grounds to not include someone.
Wait, did I say top 16 and not top 32?
Oh, I didn't notice that. I was just making a reference because P1 also lost to Copperhead and beat two robots not in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I? Oh, Whiplash. Whiplash 8 seed. All right. I mean, I could say they should be a little bit lower, but I'm fine with 8 seed. Huge, no, they should be higher. Maybe not as higher than Kraken should be, but they definitely should be higher. 23 seed, in my opinion. Valkyrie 9 seed, I agree with. And finally, Sub-Zero 24 seed. No, they should be bottom 5 seed, in my opinion. I mean, it's tough. I'd say Sub-Zero should be bottom 5 just because they, as Pory said, they are probably the worst 2-in-1 robots. Although I'd say Slammo's also in the mix for that, but yeah. And
Slammo's opponents actually at least moved though.
Yeah.
The paint train kind of moved, but you know.
All right,
So yeah, that's my.
Oh.
Go ahead, Green.
Yeah, people are being loud outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but whatever.
You guys
So
shut up! I'm talking about robots.
as for my opinions on as for who should have made it, I'm questionable on P1, and like I'm kind of in the middle. Like one side of me makes me think they shouldn't have made it, as some of their as I feel like even a bunch of the 1 and 2 bots that are like at the lower seats, I feel like their 1 win and their 2 losses were a little more impressive than P1 and put up, but still popularity is still a big problem, and there are definitely great arguments that they should have made the top 32. Captain Shredder, I definitely feel like they should have made it into the top 32. I'm not going to list who I think who should be swapped with Captain Shredder, because I don't have a good answer for that. That is, I haven't really thought that through exactly. But I do believe that Captain Shredder should have been in. They got an impressive win over Axe Backwards, and they put up a heck of a fight against both Shatter and Lockjaw. Actually, and did a reasonable amount of stuff to Lockjaw and stuff. And so I'm not going to list out every bot by rank. So far, I'm not going to go through all 4 quadrants like Pory and Civilian did. Not like there's anything wrong with that. There's no problem. But
Yeah.
what I am going to list out is whom I think are a little over, little underranked, a little really overranked, really underranked, that stuff. Pretty much what my definition by that is going to be when I list off whoever is like a little bit underseeded or overranked, I'm thinking like 3 seeds or less. If I'm thinking they're really over or underranked, I'm thinking more than 3 and stuff like that. So what do you guys think I should do first between over and underranked?
Over.
Yeah, over does a bit more.
All right,
fun.
So I'm going to start with a little overranked. And so some bots that I think are a little overranked, I'm thinking Black Dragon as a little overseeded, as I think they probably could be like, while they did do really well, like what Civilian said, they had a great regular season. They are definitely one of the best 2-in-1 bots in there. I'm not sure if exactly they're 5 seed worthy, but you could easily make an argument they should be at the 5 seed, as they did have a few impressive fights in there. I think Lockjaw is a little overranked as well, but not by too much. And stuff like Tombstone as well. I think they should be like in the 24, 25 seed area, even though that breaks my 3 or less rule thing. So now let's get to the really overranked teams, which I have 2 that I would choose for that. I have Fusion down as one of them. I think Fusion is quite a bit overranked. And like I would have them like I would have them like not in the high 20s. I would have them like around like Witch Doctor, Witch Doctor, Sub-Zero, Huge, Kraken, around that area somewhere, 23 to 26. Like, yes, Fusion is not a terrible bot. They did do a ton of stuff to War Easy and Aegis and stuff, but I don't think they're 15 seed worthy, in my opinion here. Those fights ended like a little too quickly. We didn't really get a big test of like their durability and stuff, like what we saw in their Mad Catter battle and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so now underseeded here, which I have a larger list of bots for those. Bots that I think are a little underseeded here. I think Huge is a little underseeded here. That was Huge. They got that impressive victory over Kraken. They managed to do some pretty good stuff to Hydra's defense, even though they didn't really do much damage and stuff. Like, you kind of get what I'm saying by that. I think Shatter is a little underranked. Perfect Phoenix is a little underranked. Rotator as well. Let's see who else. Ribot as well. I think they're a little underranked. And I think Ribot should be like in the. Ribot's gonna be someone I'm actually gonna put as a really underranked team. I think they should be like in the 15 area. Now to add to the really add to the really underranked teams, I think all 3 beat up Mad Catter and Jackpot, seeds 11 through 13. And I'm also going to add Valkyrie I'm probably going to put as a little underseeded as well. Those 3 bots I think are quite a bit underranked. I think they're all top 10 bots. Like, I think they should be quite a bit further up there than where they're at right now. But overall, I think Battlebots did a reasonably good job. Like, yeah, the 1 seed, I kind of disagree with that as well, but it's something where you could easily make a good argument. Now, they had 2 impressive victories over Witch Doctor and Uppercut. Then there was, of course, Huge, which I'm not going to talk about that very much. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, they did a decent job. Like, there's not a lot that you could there's not a lot that was really major that should cause like major controversy and stuff. Like yeah, the selection committee did the best they could, and they did a great job as always. Like yeah, the organization probably wasn't as good as it has been in like 2018 and 19, but it's not something where I'm really going to criticize them very much for it, and so on. So yeah, those are my opinions on this bracket. So anything else from you two?
Nope.
No, I think it's good.
All right, so be sure to comment below. Be sure to comment what your opinions are on the bracket and such. Like, even if they disagree with every one of us as for our opinions, I'll be coming out with. I'll be posting another video at some point, posting my predictions and explaining them later on, as that'll be coming up this weekend as well. And so, thank you for watching this video. Thanks for your time watching this also long video. Thanks for co-hosting again, Pory and Civilian Arc, and I will hopefully see you for the next video.
Justice for P1!
All right.
Like and subscribe to Pory's channel.
Thank you.